everything in this car, well, 99% of everything in this car is either a 10 or a 12. If you don't have metric sockets and you own a Subaru, what are you doing, man? To give us a little bit of room, I'm just gonna remove our air intake. Pretty simple, 2 bolts at the front. Both of them are 10s. Once those are removed, you can simply pull this whole shroud off. That gives us a little bit more room to see what's happening in here. Next is our engine cover here. I lost the bolts to these a long time ago, so I just have some random screws holding this together. Screws removed, just give it a good pull, off it comes. Before we get any deeper, I'm just gonna remove the battery and then remove whatever kind of cover this is. This is a 10, this is a 12. And remember, for now, you don't want to remove this bolt all the way. We'll get there in a second, but just loosen it off and you'll be able to pull this bracket right out. Sorry about that, I forgot to turn on the light. Wow, now you can see. The first thing we can take out here is the alternator belt. This runs in front of the water pump and condenser. I guess this is just a condenser belt. It's pretty easy to remove. Just make sure you have this bolt here loosened up. There's a little secret bolt hidden under here. Let me show you. You see this guy right here? This is the bolt we gotta release first. Do not start messing with this guy if this is still locked on. You're gonna snap this bolt right here. Another good idea is to hit this with some kind of penetrant, PP blaster, or whatever you want to use. They're just really easy to snap, especially when they are old like mine. Once that is good and penetrated, you can loosen up this bolt. Doesn't have to come out, just loosen it, and you can start loosening this bolt. This will in turn pull the alternator down, giving us enough slack to take the belt out. You might want to make sure you had a good wrist workout before this, because it takes a million turns. Don't use power tools yet, okay? Just a warning. Like I said, this bolt snaps really easy. So once you're sure it's loose, I would just hand unscrew it all the way down. If it is not moving, you know, give it a couple whacks on the top. Make sure that it starts moving before you start giving this a lot of tension. It should be pretty easy. We're nice and loose as a goose. Huh? This this belt comes right off just like that. And actually this belt is actually in really good condition. But I got new belts anyway, so why not just change them? Now you can see a little bit of the difference. I mean, this belt has some tearing on the side. It's a little bit faded, but I mean, it's still got a good 200, 300,000 kilometers on it, maybe. But this one, nice new Gates belt, looking pretty clean. We won't put this on yet because we got to remove the alternator. To get our next belt out, you're gonna have to loosen up this bolt down here first, which will then let us unscrew this bolt, basically same as this, to start lifting this idler pulley up and loosening this belt off for us. Number 12, like I said, it's either a 12 or a 10. Once it's feeling pretty loose, you're basically good to go. Now you thought this one was bad. This is even more turns to start getting it moving. It's also gonna require a longer socket to fit in there. Again, make sure it is wet. Now once this starts comfortably moving, wow, what a great angle. Once this starts comfortably moving, like I said, you have about 1 trillion turns to start getting this thing up. Change to your favorite way to do that. If you want to do it by hand, be my guest, but I am gonna makeshift some way of getting that out. Boom. This is how we're gonna get this out. Again, do not do this unless it is fully loose. Ta-da. With the idler pulley pulled out of the way, the belt just comes right off. Taking a look at it again, it looks pretty good. I mean, this would last another 15 years. It's next buyer's problem. Now, if you're just taking out the alternator, skip ahead, because I have a super loud idler pulley, or I think it's a idler pulley making the sound. So I'm gonna remove the whole bracket here, get to the idler pulley, and replace it with a brand new one. Now, I know you're bored of hearing it. It's a number 12. 2 bolts at the top here, 1 there, and 1 here. One eternity later. Oh, these are long bolts. Jeez. Just like that, out comes our bracket and idler pulley. Here's the whole piece, and this guy is incredibly hard to move. I mean, it still can move, but it is like grindy and super hard, which is why I got one of these, which is not grindy and not super hard to move. Let's put these on. Super easy again. We already loosened up this bolt when we took it out, but double check, then simply unscrew here. That will release the pulley from the back. There's a little middle piece to take out, and here is our old piece. I literally cannot move this by hand. I don't know how I was moving it before. There's our sound issue right there. So putting it in, same steps in reverse. Okay, get your middle centerpiece here, and I think does it make the most sense to do this? This probably makes the most sense. In it goes. There's this little bracket. Everything's a bracket. Just make sure it all sort of lines up like this. All right, in goes your other bolt. Nut, I mean. Leave a comment down below how many times I said bolt when I meant nut and nut when I meant bolt. And just like that, wow, freedom. Let's throw it back in. You could wait till you have the alternator back out, but it doesn't really matter. This won't really get in the way of what we're about to do, so I'm just gonna put it back in so I don't have to think about it anymore. Same thing, but in reverse. Just put those 2 bolts into their place and start turning. This will take 1,000,000 years. Ta-da! I think now's a good time to explain though, why or how did I know this alternator was dying? Well, number 1, there's a pretty wicked sound coming from inside of it. To find that out, you want to get one of your trusty little mechanic stethoscopes, also known as a long screwdriver. Slam that into your ear and start touching it to pieces you think might be causing the sound. When I touch the alternator here, you know, instant playback like this. there was this sound coming from inside like this, wee, 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 wee. It was pretty terrible. Number two, when I was driving the car sometimes at fresh start, the VDC control and check engine light would come on. And the VDC control only really comes on when there's either a major engine issue or when the battery is not getting or not supplying how much electricity it should supply. So sort of in a divert all power to shields method, the car turns off VDC and puts electricity where it has to go, spark plugs, etc. So those are the two issues of why I think the alternator is no good. Okay, time to get this guy out. You're gonna notice in here we got a bolt, and also way over here there's a little green connector. See this? This guy pops out. Boom. Okay. Now when you're buying your alternator, make sure to check what pins you have here. They change, don't know why, but make sure you're getting the type of socket for your pin. There's a match to everything, you know? That bolt hidden under the red. What are we thinking? Place your bets. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Ding! That's right, if you said 10, you'd be wrong. It's a 12 again. Let's get to work. Okay, bolt removed. This thingy removed, just like this. Boom, wires are off. We are free. Remember this bolt we talked about? Remove it. Try not to drop whatever I just dropped. Hey, don't forget that at the back of this bolt is the nut. To each bolt there is a nut. And if you just wildly unscrew this like an idiot, that nut's gonna fall straight into your engine. So don't do that. Anyways, with my nut straight in the engine, we can start pulling this guy, kind of rotate and wiggle him out. Ta-da! A bolt. Now let's go find our nut in there. This bolt, which we just loosened off before, we want to take off. There's no nut at the back, so we can just kind of start pulling this out. And you're going to see the whole thing just sort of let go of itself. Now it's loose. Now this is a little tricky little step here. You're going to want to PB blast the joint between the alternator and the mount here, and really get this whole alternator loose to the point that you can kind of start moving this piece wherever you want, and then try to get it this way. Try to move it out of the way to the right. Once that's a little bit out of the way, the whole alternator will spin upwards like that. And you'll have the whole heavy boy out of there. And got the back piece that I definitely meant to take off that way. It's just easier to get out of there. There you go. Ooh, fancy new alternator. Okay, turns really easily, has a bit of resistance from the magnets inside. Generally just feels pretty good. Wiggly. One little piece at a time. The whole thing should just start pushing in more and more. Until it all just seats in, just like that. Now the process of putting it all back in is just the same thing. You guessed it, in reverse. Time for a difficult part. Or can be difficult, which is getting the bolt to line up all the way through. Oh, first try. Get your little nut at the back and start to feed that through as well. Just get it started, keep everything nice and loose. Add our bolt back in here, slowly feed it until it catches, keep it loose. Okay, that was looking pretty good. Socket here into the back of the system. Okay, and then should go cord, washer, and finally nut. Let's get that tightened down. No, this isn't gonna do. You see this? They have chosen to defy the Subaru gods. See this? This is not a 12. How dare they? I'm gonna feed on the bolt that was on our previous alternator, which is a 12, as to keep the Subaru gods happy. We're not letting a imperial sized piece in this car. Okay, now how many torque pounds? Just make sure it's gluten tight. Now make sure we do our belt order in reverse. The back belt here, up and around this, and on. Everything should be super loose from where you last had it. Next, get your next belts. You know what? I just discovered something very serious. Always make sure your belts are facing you, you know? And that's for no reason except for OCD. You know, some people like them facing into the engine so that maybe the engine can read it or something. I don't know, but I want to read it. Next, the alternator and power steering pump gets fed on as well. Very tight. Oh no. Do your best to get these things on. Sometimes they don't agree with you. Damn, man, get in there. What are you thinking? It's at this point when you start contemplating life and you double check your receipts and you see if you have the right piece or if Rock Auto just scammed you. We're giving up. All right, well, this is when you take some time to really meditate and see if you're wrong or if the part is wrong. And in this case, you can see here we're K0345 on the new one, K0350 on the old one. This bad boy's the wrong belt. For now, we're just gonna throw on the old belt. Good thing it has lots of life in it, right, guys? Wow. Just like that. It's crazy. The right piece for the right job and everything works out. By the way, the other belt is correct. 40353 and 40353. Thanks, Rock Auto. Now, if I was my trusty, handy 12 socket, I would be right here. Okay, now we're gonna start tightening down our idler pulley. And now we used, whoa, hold on, earthquake, oh my God. Now we use the power tool to loosen it, which is all good and fine. But I'd recommend hand tightening this down. Don't wanna go snapping the belt that we waited a week to get, do we? Now, we are gonna tension this nicely later. But first, let's also get our alternator up as well. Okay. Whew, this is a workout. Oh my God. Now, same thing, once these start getting pretty difficult to hand move, we're gonna just stop there for now. Bolt and having a seizure, anybody? Bolts, idler pulley, belts are looking good. I'm just gonna double check some of our bolts just to make sure that everything is nice and tight. People out here say, oh, you gotta tighten the belt till it's about half an inch of play. What does that mean? Like, am I getting my protractor out or what? Like, measuring this? Basically, want to do it till it has a little bit of flex, but it feels solid until the components can't really be hand turned anymore is another good start. For now, I'm just gonna leave it there, and we're gonna tighten down our locking bolt here. Yeah, sure. That looks good. I always find you can tell a lot more from the sound that the car makes when it starts spinning rather than from your hand. There are some tools that you can get that will help you measure if your tightness is exactly right, but I'm not a millionaire, so we're just gonna guess that's pretty good. Remove all your junk that you've randomly placed around, and let's reattach our battery here. Let's give her a start, shall we? Now, did you hear that? Wacka, 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 wacka. That was coming from our belt here, which is a little bit too loose. So, loosen up the idler pulley again. Okay. I'm just gonna tighten it down a little bit more. Let's not put the screwdriver on the battery, shall we? Let's give it a start. Can you guys listen for any weird sounds and let me know to shut off the car? Thanks. Okay, so belts are looking good. Alternators spinning, looking good. You can test this with a multimeter. Just double check your voltages are coming out. Should have about 13-ish volts, 14 volts around there, coming when the alternator is on. And yeah, looks good. Let's re-beautify this. Done. New alternator, 1 out of 2 new belts, and a new idler pulley. How many horsepower did I just add? You tell me. By the way, forgot to mention, make sure you look up your voltage, the amperage that your alternator is supposed to supply before you replace it. These bad boys are 110. If you look online or at US models, you might see 90 or 100. These are 110. You could go higher too if you want a little bit more voltage, but make sure your wires can support that. Thanks for watching my video, guys. And make sure to subscribe, because next week I'm going to teach you how to build an entire car out of just a Scrabble box. Stay tuned.